The Heritage Corporation, the world's largest producer of cultural heritage video, is proud to bring you the story of your name. It's a story that has been prepared by a team of dedicated professionals, experts in genealogy, heraldry, and history. It's the proud story of your unique Irish heritage. At the end of this video, we'll give you helpful information about touring Ireland. We'll give you a list of our extensive range of name videos, not only Irish, but Scottish and Welsh too. And we'll show you some other attractive gifts that are specific to Irish family names. But for now, sit back and relax as the Heritage Corporation takes you on a very special journey into your past.
Kelley, from the Irish O'Kellig, is an old name, a very old name. But nothing in Ireland, except maybe the land itself, is as old as Newgrange. This ancient tomb was over 3,000 years old at the birth of Christ. So for over 5,000 years, it saw the arrivals of the varied peoples that came to our shores, and sadly too it witnessed the departure of millions of Irish men and women who left us and today are scattered all over the world.
So let us go then, you and I, on an Irish journey, an hour's journey only, but endless in the imagination. A journey right through this beautiful country of ours, along the coasts and into the very lands and territories of your own Irish ancestors.
These are the majestic cliffs of Moher. They stand defiant, holding back the relentless waves. Below, the broad Atlantic stretches all the way 3,000 miles beyond to the New World. When you stand on these cliffs, you stand on the edge of Ireland, you stand on the edge of Europe. Inland from here lies the fair land of Éireann, Ireland, the home of your ancestors.
This is the story of your great Kelley heritage. As a Kelley, you're descended from one of the most illustrious of all the old Irish families, a family that played a huge part in shaping the history of Ireland down through the centuries. We will trace your name from its earliest Celtic origins, following its journey across the green and varied landscape of Ireland, charting the changing fortunes of your royal and noble family. Through ancient castles and aging ruins, we will rediscover the stories of your Kelley ancestors, your story. It tells of warriors and rebels, of kings and earls, of great battles lost and won. We will discover, too, how your name has changed over the centuries and how your ancestors carried it and its traditions with them across the seas to the New World. Irish surnames, which began 1,000 years ago, developed in a number of ways. If a family took their father's name, they became known as Mac, like McCarthy, because Mac means the son of. But if they were called after a more remote ancestor, they used the O, which means descended from, as in, say, O'Brien. Meanwhile, the Normans often used Fitz instead of O or Mac, as in Fitzgerald, son of Gerald. Or you could be called after the job you did, as in Smith, or the place you came from, as in Welsh, from Wales. For the 60 million people throughout the world who share an Irish ancestry, St. Patrick's Day is a time for them to come together to celebrate and rejoice in their Irish identity. Although your own family may have left these shores and settled in new lands, it is still possible to trace your ancestors back to their original homelands. Tom Lindert, one of Ireland's leading authorities on genealogy, has some useful advice.
Well, it's very important that if someone's interested in doing your genealogy, that you get all your background information in your home country first. Don't just try to jump straight over to Ireland. The first thing is that you get a person that you know the most about from Ireland, be it an ancestor, their name, a date to put them in history, be it a birth date, marriage date, or death date, and then a locality, narrow that down as much as possible, be it a county or a townland. But make sure you have the information together to begin with, and then make the next step over to do research in Ireland.
Once you have located an ancestor and have some idea of where they originally came from in Ireland, the records which will allow you to trace your family history are, by and large, available to you. The first place to go to is the National Archives at the Four Courts in Dublin. Documents kept here, such as Griffith's land valuations of the 19th century and the Tye the Plotman books, are invaluable in the search for your ancestors. If we take the case of a namesake of yours, we can illustrate exactly how these documents can help you. Let's look at the case of John Kelley. We know that John left Ireland for America in the 1860s. We also know that the name Kelley, at that time, was most common in Galway, Mayo and Meath. At the Four Courts in Dublin, we searched Griffith's land valuation records. We found John's family in the land valuation records for Culp Parish in Paynestown in County Meath. Once we found this, we checked the nearby parish churches, and in St. Mary's Roman Catholic Church, we found that John was baptized on the 17th of March, 1853, the son of Michael Kelley and Mary McKeown of Paynestown. With this knowledge, it is possible to trace the history of John's family. So you see, all you need are the basic details about an ancestor, and the quest for information on your family roots can begin. The search for your ancestors is becoming easier all the time, thanks to a recent initiative called the Irish Genealogical Project. This is the Clare Heritage Centre in Corofin. The centre is at the very heart of a new and exciting development. The official surviving records relating to family history and genealogy are being collected throughout the county. They're being brought here and then put on computer. But Corofin's not alone in this. Many other heritage centres have opened up all over Ireland, so that no matter where your family comes from, you should now be able to get an accurate record of your family history. It is possible to trace your ancestors even further back beyond your immediate family, but let's start at the beginning and take a look at the history, the culture, and the country which shaped your forefathers. On the Aran Islands off the west coast of Ireland stands the prehistoric fort of Dún enigmatic, poised over the ocean, its ancient builders a mystery even to this day. Over 7,000 years had passed since the first settlers arrived in Ireland. Hunting in the young forests, they slowly ventured up the river valleys, building their dwellings from rough wood and animal hide, and forming small communities hidden in the forest. 2,500 years before Christ, they had developed a society that was stable enough and wealthy enough to produce these majestic dolmens. This dolmen here is the Paul na Brone dolmen, situated in North Clare in the Burren country. Just another part of the wonderment that is ancient Ireland. They built mysterious circles of standing stones. These people we call the Firbolg, or the Fomorians, and the Tuatha Dé Danann, the legendary children of Dana, goddess of magic. Perhaps these early peoples were among your forebears, people who would have known the names of those who lie under the great dolmens. But older than Paul na Brone, older even than the pyramids, is the passage grave at Newgrange in County Meath. Built over 5,000 years ago and designed so that on the winter solstice each year, at the moment of sunrise, a shaft of sunlight penetrates to the very heart of the mound, illuminating the intricate spirals carved in stone. Newgrange was where they paid tribute to their now forgotten gods. These people were superb craftsmen in stone, but a new material was sweeping across Europe from Asia Minor. The Iron Age came to Ireland, and the people who introduced the new material around 500 BC were the Celts, who for almost 2,000 years ruled Ireland as kings. The Celts were a major influence on the course of Irish history and instrumental in shaping our unique Irish identity. Let's listen to what leading archaeologist Barry Raftery of University College Dublin has to say about the Celts.
Well, in the narrowest sense, the term Celtic refers to a language, but it is entirely appropriate to use the term in a broad cultural context. Now, the earliest reference to the term Celt was made by the Greeks about the 6th century BC. They just referred to a specific cultural grouping in Europe as Keltoi. We do not, of course, know whether the Celts themselves used that phrase to describe themselves. Now, in archaeological terms, the Celtic culture begins about 700 BC in Europe, continues until it was destroyed by the Romans around about the birth of Christ. And archaeologists have divided this culture into two broad phases, named after two major find spots in Europe: an earlier phase, which is called the Hallstatt culture, and a later phase, which is called the Latin culture. It is the Latin Celts who are best exemplified in the archaeological record. There are very serious problems of archaeological interpretation. But what we can say is that the earliest indications of contact with the Celtic culture abroad appears in Ireland around about 600 BC, when there are some indications of a Hallstatt presence in the country. We have some Hallstatt material, but it's not very substantial. Around about 300 BC, there's a greater body of archaeological material in the country, which we can certainly equate with the Celtic groups. In many ways, it displays native Irish idiosyncrasies which set it apart from the material in the Latin areas outside the country. We have a vast body of Celtic literature surviving in the country. We have the epic cycle, the Ulster cycle, we have the Fíneachta, we have a whole range of mythology, we have a superb collection of early Irish nature poetry and other poetry, but probably the principal legacy of the Celts, the most enduring, is our Celtic personality. We certainly have a distinctive personality, a warmth, a friendliness. The classical commentators describe the belligerent character of the Celts. Perhaps we have inherited that too, to a certain extent. But we certainly have a distinctive Celtic personality which sets us apart from all other European cultures.
a small island on the edge of Europe. The island of your ancestors was divided up between a number of major Celtic clans. In the south, in what is now Munster, were the Oinacht and the Dalcash. In Connacht, to the west, were the Ibrin. In the province of Leinster were the Chinslig, and to the north, in Ulster, were the Nail. These clans were in time joined by the great Viking and Norman families. The Kelleys of Galway are direct descendants of a branch of the Ibrin called the Ui Maine.
Time and the great grasslands of Galway have overgrown what was once the great fortress of Miloch, the heart and centre of O'Kelly power in Ireland. From here, for over 1,000 years, your ancestors ruled these lands, and their estates stretched from here all the way north, even into County Mayo.
The many branches of the Kelleys were to stretch far beyond Mayo and Galway. 5 smaller branches of Kelleys came into being in the counties of Meath, Antrim, Laois, Sligo and Dublin. The name Kelley is still strong in these counties today. The story of your Kelley name begins in the 11th century. From the Ui Maine there came a mighty warrior chieftain named Kellogh. Kellogh became in time the Lord of Connacht and ruled over a large territory which extended over much of what is now County Galway. His name, Kellogh, is derived from the Old Irish word for strife or contention. This was a very apt name for a chieftain whose lands were bordered to the north by those of the O'Neills, to the south by those of the O'Briens, and to the west by those of the O'Connors, all warring families of the fiercest calibre. When Kellogh died, his grandson, Taig Moore, took his name in his honour, becoming Taig Moore O'Calig, meaning Taig, the descendant of Kellogh. In doing so, he became the first Irishman to bear the Kelley surname because it is from this Old Irish surname O'Calig that your name of Kelley or O'Kelly is derived. We have already seen that Kellogh is derived from the old word for strife. So what your Kelley name means is descendant of the one who knew strife. The Kelley name has, of course, spread to all corners of Ireland down through the centuries, and today you will find Kelleys in every county in Ireland. But like most Irish families with strong roots associated with a particular place, the Kelleys are still to be found in greatest numbers in the homelands of their ancestors, the wild and rugged windswept and sea-torn county of Galway, home to the Kelleys for nearly 1,000 years. Hurling, Ireland's national sport, is reminiscent of the time when the great clans of Ireland battled for land power and the high kingship.
It was the strength of Christianity that forged the first real bonds of unity in Ireland, for the Irish took very well to Christianity, so well indeed that in a very short time her monks had established some of the most important ecclesiastical centres in the Christian world.
Here in Glendalough, in County Wicklow, I always think the sense of Ireland's Christian past is particularly strong. There had been small settlements of monks scattered along the Irish coast for some time, but it took St. Patrick to bring together the old religion of the Celts and the new Christianity. This new Irish Christianity turned out to be a powerful crusading force.
With the collapse of the Roman Empire, Europe was once more plunged into the Dark Ages. And strangely enough, that's what gave us, I think, our first emigrants, the young Irish monks who left their Irish monasteries and brought the flame of Christianity back into that pagan continent.
At home in Ireland, the monks built the unique round towers, originally as bell towers, and then later used them for keeping safe their priceless chalices and manuscripts. In their workrooms, the monks channeled their passionate Celtic sensitivity into glowing colour and intricate artwork. And certainly, the greatest and most beautiful of the manuscripts is the Book of Kells, now in the library of Trinity College, Dublin. The work of the monasteries, however, was to be disturbed by the arrival of the Vikings. For 200 years, they came as pirates to plunder gold from the great Irish monasteries. However, in 1014, they were finally defeated in battle by the High King of Ireland, Brian Boru, after which they became fully integrated into Irish society. The Vikings built Ireland's first towns and cities, including Dublin, Wexford, Cork, and Limerick, and their commercial ability is reflected today in Dublin's famous Moore Street Market. The Vikings left an indelible impression on the Irish, and with their demise as a great power, coupled with the death of Brian Boru, meant in fact that the High Kingship of Ireland was up for grabs. What followed was almost a century of political instability and unrest, in which the greater Irish families fought amongst themselves for the title of High King of Ireland. It was an eventful century in the history of the Kelley clan. They were one of the most powerful and warlike clans in Ireland and could lay serious claim to the High Kingship. This, of course, antagonized the O'Connors and the O'Briens to the extent that the O'Kelleys were hard put looking after their own territories. But 100 years of shifting allegiances and bitter infighting left not only our ancestors, but the country as a whole
prepared for the next wave of comers to disembark on Irish soil. The Normans, led by the great warrior Strongbow, arrived in 1169. Heavily protected by their coats of mail, they moved like mud tanks through the Irish countryside. They had arrived as mercenaries at the request of the deposed King of Leinster, but a combination of their military might and an attraction to the land of your ancestors induced them to make a more permanent foothold. The O'Kelleys of Connacht were woefully unprepared for the vicious onslaught of the Normans. Their bitter struggles with the O'Briens and the O'Connors had left them weary of fighting and seriously short of strong fighting men. When Richard de Burgo crossed the Shannon in 1232, he met with little resistance. The land was conquered and the locals forced into submission. The Normans claimed the land between the Corrib and the Shannon rivers for themselves. The O'Kelleys were the last of the Irish clans to encounter the Normans. In 1225, a huge army led by Maurice Fitzgerald crossed the Shannon, and for the first time, the Irish clans of Connacht came into contact with the might of the Norman war machine. They were badly defeated. But in 1316, they rebelled again, but suffered another defeat here at Athenry at the hands of Richard of Birmingham, known to the Irish as Rishtard na Goch, Richard of the Battle. The clans were scattered, and the countryside was soon dotted with the stone castles of the Norman invaders. Following his victories in battle, Strongbow took the hand of the King of Leinster's daughter, Eva, in marriage, and less than 2 years later, he had taken the crown for himself. Stony towers are not always protective, for here in Waterford, at Reginald's Tower, the marriage of Strongbow and Eva started a trend that would eventually undermine Norman influence in Ireland. You see, within a century, the Normans and the Irish intermarried, and the Normans adopted the Irish language and culture to a degree that made the English King John declare, "The Normans are more Irish than the Irish themselves." This period saw great changes and upheavals in the fortunes of your Kelley ancestors. They lost one of their most able chieftains fighting Rishtard at the Battle of Athenry, and subsequently became so disorganized that another Rishtard, Richard de Burgo, known as the Red Earl, because of the amount of Irish blood he had spilt, was able to dispossess them of most of their lands within 10 years. However, their fortunes were to change with the emergence of another brilliant leader in the person of William O'Kelly. William's powerful spirit and vision proved to be such an inspiration to the Kelleys that within 20 years they were once again a fighting and political force to be reckoned with. In 1351, the greatest gathering of poets, musicians and talented artists ever assembled in Ireland celebrated this change of fortune for the Kelleys at William's Castle in Knockcrockery.
The O'Kelleys had lost most of their castles to the marauding de Burgo family, but by a shrewd combination of aggression and intermarriage, they were able to regain much of their lost territory. Indeed, they were well able to build this magnificent abbey here behind me for the Franciscans in 1401. It was built by William O'Kelly Moine, and it stands to this day at Kilconnell in the county of Galway. The O'Kellys were once again the proud rulers of Ui Maine.
Here at Bunratty Castle, the vibrant atmosphere of that period can be experienced in a banquet that is faithfully recreated using historical records from the time.
My noble lords and ladies, my noble guests, the entry of your host this evening, the Earl of Thomond, Mr. Joe Lynch.
Food and drink in the old style, music and song. This is how your ancestors entertained their friends.
This castle now awakes. Its ancient glory stirs. The clink of mail and laughter fills its halls, and we inherit all its chivalry. Bunratty bids you welcome. A toast to all you hear. Sligo is sail. Sligo is sail.
Let the banquet begin.
The Kelleys and the Normans had much to learn about each other. In 1306, one William O'Kelly and a man named Gilmory went to court. William was seeking compensation for 2 acres of wheat he claimed Gilmory stole from him. The court discovered the wheat did not belong to William, but to a lady friend of his who had died. Gilmory had taken the wheat as compensation for her unpaid rents. The Norman court gave William a severe reprimand for trying to pull the wool over their eyes. But the O'Kellys did most of their fighting on the battlefield rather than in court. In 1504, we found a record of a vicious fracas between the O'Kellys, the Fitzgeralds, the O'Neills and the O'Donnells on one side, and the de Burgos on the other. In a surprise attack, Ulick de Burgo invaded and destroyed the O'Kelly castles at Moniver and Garbany. The O'Kelly chieftain, Will Shockland, sought help from his neighbours and got it readily, most especially from the Fitzgeralds, who had a personal grievance against the marauding Ulick. Garrett Fitzgerald had given him his daughter in marriage, and he had mistreated her rather badly. They say that blood is thicker than water, and the O'Kellys with their allies certainly caused rivers of de Burgo blood to flow when they clashed at the Battle of Knocktoe, 8 miles north of Galway City. The Kellys became such a thorn in the side of the English that in 1518 they were included in a list of dangerous families outlawed from Galway City. During the 1500s, the power of the Celtic chieftains began to wane under sustained military pressure from the forces of the English crown. This, in turn, led to a series of rebellions. The last great Celtic revolt ended here at Kinsale in 1601. It had been led by the mighty Hugh O'Neill of Tyrone. In the year 1609, O'Neill and many of the other Irish chieftains left our shores. This was called the Flight of the Earls. It heralded the end of the old Celtic ways. Now it was a new Ireland, new kings, new centres of power. The Flight of the Earls is a testament to the concept of Ireland as an independent nation, the Celtic aristocracy choosing exile rather than submission. To consolidate their power in Ireland, the new rulers sent out clerks to record the names of Ireland. Unable to speak the Irish language, these clerks did not attempt to properly translate the indigenous names, but rather made approximate and phonetic translations. As you travel through Ireland today, you will notice how the signposts carry evidence of that name-changing process which began so long ago. For example, Báile an Mhuircheig, meaning the town of the Murphys, became Ballymurphy. Ashlarn I Chunnell simply became Castle Connell. About this time, your name began to take on its present form. The name of O'Kellig was translated in a number of ways completely at the discretion of the particular clerk involved. It appears in the records as O'Kellag, O'Kelly, and finally Kelley. And in many cases, the spelling was the best approximation the English clerks could make to the sound of this ancient and royal Irish name. The essential Irish culture, however, remains strong and vibrant, and despite continued assault, it has remained so to this day. The Irish have always been proud of their heritage and culture, and nowhere is this more evident than in the art of heraldry. And here to tell you more about that is the former Chief Herald of Ireland, Gerard Slevin.
Heraldry had its origin in the fact that the knight in medieval times, going into warfare, was completely encased in armour, including his head. So there was no means of knowing who he was. So it became the practice to paint on his shield certain emblems or signs or symbols as a means of identification. Heraldry has always had an extraordinary fascination for people, whatever it is about the shield shape and its contents. And in due course, this personal practice spread to cities, universities, institutions, and is still very active. The primary purpose, as I have suggested, was identification. And I suppose that is still the essential purpose of heraldry, is personal or institutional identification.
Your coat of arms is a window to your heritage. Each part is full of stories and mysteries. The shield displays the arms of the family, and in this case a triple-tiered tower supported by two lions in the rampant position. The tower is both a symbol of grandeur and a biblical reference. The two lions are ancient symbols of deathless courage. The crest, which is placed on top of the shield, shows a mythical animal creature known as an Enfield. The Enfield is special to the Kelley family, and tradition says it dates back to the time of Taig Mór O'Kellig, who died at the Battle of Clontarf in 1014. The story goes that when Taig fell in the battle, an Enfield rose from the sea to protect his body until it was carried from the field by his kinsman. The motto reflects so much of the history and the spirit of the Kelleys. Turris, Fortis, Mihi, Deus, meaning God is a tower of strength to me.
Many Irish people certainly are entitled to use arms, yes. The registers of the office of arms, the genealogical office, as it is now, the office of the Chief Herald, has registers going back many centuries.
The 17th century saw England convulsed by two civil wars in which Ireland inevitably became involved. The Second War was actually fought entirely on Irish soil between 1688 and 1691 and led to disastrous consequences for the Irish. (1691) saw the ending of the Williamite Wars with the signing of the Treaty of Limerick signed on this very stone. The wars are fought between two kings, William of Orange and James II, both of whom laid claim to the throne of England. In the event, victory went to King William. For the Irish who supported James II, exile seemed to be the only honourable option. Known to history as the wild geese, these honourable soldiers of fortune sailed from Limerick to Europe, bringing with them the surnames of Ireland.
Continual warfare and resistance against Elizabeth I, the armies of Cromwell subsequently, and later William, was a great drain on the resources and the strength of the O'Kelly clan. And when some of the Irish families left with the wild geese, the O'Kelleys left beautiful castles like this and went with them.
But not all of the Kelleys who fought at Limerick were forced into exile, and those who remained weren't always treated the same. Colonel Charles O'Kelly had his lands returned to him, while 25 other O'Kellys of the ancient Galway branch had their land and livelihood removed from them. One Kelley, Father Malachy, had departed before the wild geese, and he founded the Irish College in Paris. Many Kellys who were forced into exile became distinguished soldiers in their new lands. From the days of the early Christian missionaries to the present day, emigration has been an integral part of the history of the Irish people. From this small nation, millions of Irish people have traveled the world over to Europe, Asia, the Americas, Africa, and Australasia. Although many left in search of adventure or to find their fortunes, many others didn't have the choice. In the aftermath of the wild geese, which had seen the best and brightest of their day depart, Ireland was to undergo many changes, the most dramatic of which was the massive transfer of land ownership. As the land changed, so too did the politics. In 1801, the Irish Parliament in Dublin was dissolved, and as the last vestiges of power dwindled, so too did the wealth of the country, and the land sank into poverty. In 1845, a blight arrived. The potato, the staple diet of the Irish people, was totally destroyed. So began the Great Irish Famine, and so too began the greatest migration of the Irish people. Plentiful supplies of foodstuffs were exported to Britain, while the Irish people were faced with emigration in order to survive. A letter written in 1847 captures the sense of devastation. It is early morning as I write this last note before departing. We now join a huge army forced to leave their native land. The heavy morning mist is a fitting curtain for the final scene, the climax of all our strivings against impossible odds. I cannot help but glance back through the pages of our history to the years when Ireland was a beacon of learning and faith whose light spread to all parts of Europe. God grant that those days of glory may someday return. Irish people emigrated in their hundreds of thousands. They set sail from Cove, Liverpool, and Belfast. Cramped together on overcrowded ships, rife with hunger and disease, they arrived in Montreal, New York, and Boston. In Australia, famine refugees followed those who had been transported there as convicts. Many of these convicts had been expelled from their home country on charges such as stealing bread, others for belonging to revolutionary organizations. Despite their impoverished beginnings, the contribution made by those emigrants to their new countries was enormous. In the building of the modern world, from the late 17th century right up to the present day, the Irish have played a vital part in whatever society or culture they have settled in. Today, people of Irish descent number in excess of 70 million worldwide. In the annals of Irish history, the name of Kelley holds a distinguished place. Denis O'Kelly, who lived between 1720 and 1787, emigrated to London as a boy and went on to become part owner of the Derby winner Eclipse. The list of distinguished Kelleys is constantly growing. Many years have passed and much has happened since the first Ui Maine took the name O'Kelley. Now, as an O'Kelley, when you come to Ireland, you will visit many counties, of course, but most of all, you must come here to the city of Galway, because this is the very gateway to the O'Kelley kingdom, the gateway to your heritage. From the earliest days of Irish history, the great people of the name Kelley have played a significant part in the turbulent story of Ireland. Those Kelleys who chose emigration brought their traditions of strength and resilience to their new homes. Across the world, the name Kelley is still borne with pride.
And when you do go to Ireland to trace your roots, here are some of the things you may want to know. Ireland is only 300 miles long and about 150 miles wide. No part of the island is more than 70 miles from the sea. The Republic of Ireland takes up about 3/4 of the island, with Dublin as its capital. The remainder, Northern Ireland, is part of the United Kingdom, and its capital is Belfast. The other main cities and towns are Cork, Limerick, Galway, Waterford, Sligo and Athlone, and in Northern Ireland, Derry or Londonderry, Enniskillen, Newry and Portadown. The population of the Republic is 3.5 million, that of Northern Ireland 1.5 million. Ireland's population is one of the youngest in Europe.
Welcome aboard flight EI 104 to Shannon, Ireland. Our flight time will be approximately 5 hours.
From the US, you can travel to Ireland with scheduled flights non-stop from New York, Boston and Atlanta, with convenient connections from over 100 US cities. From Canada, charter flights operate from Toronto to Shannon, Dublin and Belfast. From Britain, there are flights from London and more than a dozen other British airports to some 10 airports around Ireland, north and south.
Aer Lingus, the Irish national airline, is celebrated for its friendly service and quiet efficiency. Over the years, its courteous staff have built up an enviable reputation among the world's most experienced travellers. Aer Lingus not only takes you to Ireland, but will help you plan the perfect vacation and arrange it for you. An Aer Lingus Discover Ireland vacation features everything from the deluxe hotels to cosy bed and breakfasts and a choice of fine rental cars from Avis. After all, no one knows Ireland like Aer Lingus.
For a free copy of Aer Lingus Discover Ireland Vacations, see your travel agent or call Aer Lingus at 1-800-223-6537.
International gateway to Ireland for many international visitors is Shannon, which is surrounded by many of Ireland's most beautiful locations. Every kind of information you might want is available when you arrive at Shannon. Whatever you need to know, you just have to ask. Travelling within Ireland is easy with a wide choice of services, north and south. Major international and Irish car rental companies have locations at all major air and seaports and downtown city locations. For best rates, it's advisable to book before you travel. Call Avis at 1-800-331-1084 or your local travel agent. With a hire car, you are completely free to choose your own routes, free to discover the hidden beauties of Ireland. And don't forget, in both the Republic of Ireland and in Northern Ireland, we drive on the left.
CIE, Ireland's National Transport Authority, runs a network that will take you to every town, village and beauty spot in Ireland. Bus Éireann, Irish Bus, operates the expressway service between the major cities, with modern, comfortable, high-speed buses. Services are frequent, journey times are short, and fares are remarkably cheap. And you can get great value with our special discount Rambler tickets. Or if you prefer to be fully escorted, take an inclusive motor coach tour with CIE Tours International and have the best of hotels, dining places and entertainment. Call today for this full colour guide, 1-800-CIE Tour.
Throughout Ireland, you have a variety of places to stay. These include ultra-deluxe castles, modern and old-world top-class hotels, gracious and elegant country houses, family hotels in tourist centres, good value guest houses and farmhouses, and for younger travellers on basic budgets, a countrywide network of hostels.
At Thomastown in County Kilkenny, you will find Mount Juliet. The imposing 18th century mansion exudes warmth and personality and is set in 1,500 acres of tranquil and invigorating woods and parkland. Its peaceful and relaxing charm creates a unique atmosphere for its guests. You can enjoy shooting at the Clay Target Academy, horse riding and fishing on the River Nore. And the jewel in Mount Juliet's crown is its unique, Jack Nicklaus-designed world-class golf course and academy. Contact Mount Juliet Estate, Thomastown, County Kilkenny. Telephone 056 244 55 or fax 056 245 22.
And wherever you stay, whether in pampered luxury or clean, comfortable rooms, you will experience the magic and warmth of traditional Irish hospitality and, of course, the best of Irish food and drink. Top-class restaurants serve the finest cuisine inspired by the fresh, rich and natural produce of the Irish seas and soil.
In a country as small as Ireland, the variety of scenery is a constant wonder. From the beauty of Wicklow in the east, to the majestic coastlines of Connemara and the Shannon region in the west, from the glens of Antrim and the mountains of Mourne in the north, to welcoming West Cork and Kerry in the south, the landscape is an ever-changing canvas of colour and drama. Discover the 40 shades of green while exploring this beautiful island.
And there are so many ways to explore Ireland. Visit castles, museums, libraries, galleries, historic sites. Play golf on world-renowned courses. Pony trek through breathtaking scenery. Sail the coastline in a sailboat or rent a cruiser on Lough Erne or the mighty Shannon River. Walk the many nature trails. Fish in Europe's cleanest rivers, lakes and coastal waters. Any time of year is the right time for your visit to Ireland.
And if you come in September, you could be part of the biggest ever gathering of the Irish, the Scots-Irish and the Anglo-Irish in their ancestral homeland, when the Irish Homecoming Festival will see a month-long celebration of our Irish heritage. There'll be clan rallies and welcome home weekends, workshops on the tracing of ancestors, genealogical lectures, arts festivals, country fair pageants, concerts, and a host of other events. For further information, contact the Irish Tourist Board or the Northern Ireland Tourist Board. In the US, call 1-800-551-FEST.
Shopping in Ireland too is a relaxing pleasure, whether it's in the big cities like Dublin, Belfast and Cork with their major shopping centres and pedestrianised streets, or in the many craft shops that you'll find everywhere you go, even in remote rural areas.
Grafton Street has been here almost as long as Dublin itself, and Brown Thomas opened its doors in 1848, and today is one of Dublin's most famous and indeed one of her most elegant shopping landmarks.
You will enjoy being in Brown Thomas and the wonderful wide range of goods it offers you. The finest brand names in the world, and that includes Ireland, of course, can be found in today's Brown Thomas. From the quietly tasteful to extravagantly stylish, all elegantly laid out in one of Ireland's loveliest buildings. James Joyce wrote about Brown Thomas, cascades of ribbons, china and silks. On the opposite side of Grafton Street is Switzer's, part of the Brown Thomas Group, Ireland's largest department store. Switzer's is renowned for its impressive range of fine china and its exquisite crystal collections.
And when you're thinking of shopping, remember too the advantages of the world's first and finest airport duty-free. It was here, in Shannon, that an enterprising barman invented Irish coffee. And another bit of history. The duty-free shop here is not only the first duty-free shop in the world, it is also the largest. When you're in the Shannon shop, you can pick up a bottle of your own favourite tipple at an attractive duty-free price. Here you can buy whatever you want, and it will be held for you until your departure. That way, you don't pay sales tax.
While you're tracing your routes, don't forget to enjoy yourself. Remember, in Ireland, we have some of the most beautiful and spectacular scenery in the whole world, like here in Killarney and the Lower Lake. Remember, Ireland of the welcomes is waiting for you. Come on, buddy.
Ireland, the land of your forebears. Céad míle fáilte, we say, 100,000 welcomes. A land where there are no strangers, only friends you haven't met yet. A beautiful island with a sense of belonging, the ancient birthplace of good times, the perfect place for a memorable vacation. Your coat of arms is your heritage. These traditional mahogany wall plaques display your family's arms, crest, and the motto of your name. You can choose from 4 sizes in both single and double. The double combines the coats of arms of 2 families, an ideal gift for a wedding or anniversary. You can also have your coat of arms on the dining table. Guaranteed to impress, these beautiful placemats and coasters are ideal for any occasion. They are very practical too, with heat resistance up to 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Play many famous Irish songs on Ireland's most loved instrument, the tin whistle. Included is an easy-to-follow instruction book showing finger technique and an audio cassette of how the tunes sound. The traditional Irish drum is known as the bodhrán. You can own one of these beautiful instruments, handcrafted and decorated with designs from the famous Book of Kells. Learn how to play it today with this easy-to-follow tutor book. The 100 Irish Ballads book gives you the opportunity to learn the words of your favorite Irish songs and the guitar chords to play them. Or you can just sit back and enjoy listening to them on this 60-minute cassette. Order now on 1-800-338-2546.
Invest in the beauty and tranquility of West Cork. Quality real estate for sale at very attractive prices. We have a selection of traditional farmhouses, stone-built cottages, properties of character. Superb locations, most with ocean views. Prices from $30,000 to $250,000. For information, contact only a 40-minute drive from Shannon Airport. The Dunraven Arms Hotel is one of Ireland's finest hotels with an international reputation for quiet, relaxed comfort, good food and friendly courtesy. And the hotel's facilities will delight the most discerning guest. Your Irish ancestors have been world leaders in jewellery craftsmanship since 3,000 years BC. Today, Celtic and heraldic jewellery in Dublin will handcraft your personalised jewellery so that you can wear your family coat of arms with pride. The Irish Audio Library presents you with the following 2 programmes: an introduction to the history of Ireland and the culture of Ireland. There are contributions from 26 internationally recognised Irish scholars in over 14 hours of informed listening pleasure. Both these programmes are recorded in Ireland and come in an attractive binder. They also include an informative booklet. Ireland is a land of breathtaking beauty, blissful tranquility, and tax-free investment. Investors from every state in the Union have found a way to earn a steady return on their savings free of tax with an Irish Permanent non-resident account. Irish Permanent is a major Irish financial institution with assets of more than $2 billion, and it pays higher investment interest rates than the major Irish banks. Now, anyone living outside of Ireland can open a non-resident account and earn high interest, free of Irish taxes, in complete confidence. Investments can be held in Irish pounds or in foreign currency for those who wish to avoid exchange rate fluctuations. For further information, contact any Irish Permanent office or write directly to our Investment Services Department,